Well, we just recently saw the uranium price tip over that $60 per pound level. And many uranium investors and new bulls are anticipating that this could herald the real start of this next phase of the potential uranium bull market. There's a lot of excitement. There's been a lot of discussion. You hits the $60 mark. What does it all mean? Well, today we're going to unpack this discussion. Thought we'd do a quick video discussing why it is so important and why investors and potential uranium producers have had this $60 mark outlined on their calendars for a while. Hope you enjoy the video. Let us know your thoughts. Drop in a comment below and looking forward to unpacking the story. Why is $60 a pound the magic number? Of course, it's an interesting question. It's worth noting the current backdrop of how uranium and the broader sector has been trading over this past period. We know, of course, the real peak of the uranium bull run happened in the 2000s. We can see here on the chart on the right, there was significant uplift. But then, of course, the price began to go down before the Fukushima event, of course, in 2011, saw uranium enter into a winter or a bear market. And so over the past few years, we've seen the price bottoming out and start to recover. And now investors are wondering, is this the next phase of the market? We need to understand why this has been so important, because as the price downturned after the peak in the 2000s, this put many mines into care and maintenance, or saw many mothballed mines. So this means even though they were working operations, the economics did not stack up. So as a result of that, a lot of working mines have actually been on hold and waiting for the right economic conditions and the right price signal that many have outlined as potentially $60 a pound to mean that yes, we're here and we can now take advantage of these next stages. It's worth noting as well that current leading uranium miners, including CAS as well as Cameco, these all cut production as well, which is speaking to the significant undersupply that's been seen in markets. However, this is also on the other side of the coin needing to be weighed up against a rising of demand as a carbon emission-free baseload option that uranium or nuclear presents. $60 per pound is considered this right price point to begin to incentivize producers. And we all know that the nuclear discussion continues to grow as the clean energy and decarbonisation push does as well. It's a pretty fascinating time. It's also worth noting too that nuclear already makes up around 10% of global electricity supply. So it's not like it's not playing a key role, but there is thoughts that as a carbon emission-free option, as well as the fact that the fossil fuel sector is getting more and more scrutiny on it as we move towards a decarbonisation society, then the uranium opportunity is one that investors are starting to get excited about. And so building on top of all of that is the uranium contracting cycle. It's worth noting here, this is an often shared visual that the over-contraction happened at the peak of the past cycle. Before, as a result of that, with the lower prices and obviously over-contracted for demand in the earliest parts, there was no need. And so contracting for longer term has started to fall short, well short of consumption. It's worth noting that the uranium sector with the utilities have long timelines for their contracts. And so as a result, we're just starting to get into this next phase of the contracting cycle. And this is where a lot of the excitement is. As the utilities start to buy up, particularly with obviously low inventories and low amounts of supply because a lot of the producers haven't been producing, then there is the thoughts that this could really fuel the next stage of this bull market for the uranium market. And so then what happens next? It's an interesting question. Firstly, if you've enjoyed the video so far, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new here, welcome. We make daily videos, so make sure you've subscribed and turn your bell notifications on. Well, as we know, with rising energy prices and decarbonisation at the forefront of discussion, the world is looking for alternative energy sources. Many are thinking that nuclear has a key role to play in this transition. We've seen obviously with the geopolitical tensions, some of the economic sanctions, the fossil fuel prices have continued soaring higher and higher, and so there's thoughts about how you can fit into that mix. Then on the other side, we all know about Sprott and the type of excitement that they drove in the markets last year. But SPUT is potentially getting a US listing on the New York Stock Exchange, which could fuel additional excitement surrounding it all. And it is worth noting as well that there is the potential for sentiment-driven moves to flow through in this sector. It's one that does garner a lot of excitement. In the backdrop of it all, however, there is a further regulatory discussion that's happening in terms of the nuclear talk at national and global levels as well. We saw Germany recently reconsidering what was happening with the 3 remaining nuclear plants. Japan's been discussing it. The US has been discussing it. China obviously is investing heavily into the sector. So there is governmental discussions happening around the space. It's a fascinating one. Of course, this is only very early in the potential cycle. It's not going to be immediate, but there is a range of different tailwinds that are beginning to converge, which have investors starting to pay attention. And of course, this $60 per pound mark is a key milestone that investors have been waiting for ever since the lows at the bottom of the past bear market. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know your thoughts. Drop in a comment below what you think about the broader uranium sector. I think now the insights will be about how these potential producers start to react. Of course, they're not all just going to turn supply on the basis of having touched that level. They're going to want to see a sustained home in and above this $60 per pound level. But if we can see that over the upcoming period, starting to see more and more production come online will be very exciting. Thank you so much for joining us. For now, stay well and happy investing.